I grew up not liking being Asian.
Yep, same. I never really fit in, and it was until now, like coming into my own mid-40s woman journey, where I'm like, I was never meant to fit in.
Yeah.
I love who I am.
Now I see all the different cultures and experiences and the way I look. Like, this makes me me.
Yeah. Welcome to Reignite with Reet. I am sitting here with Lani Koontz, who is a special guest and also a friend and a member of the Goal Getters Collab networking group I am part of. She's a facilitator on that team, and she's a mom and a wife and all the other labels we carry.
PTA
president, and a woman.
Yes.
An amazing woman who is doing really awesome things in the community to help women, and who's here to share her journey. Welcome, Lani.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my first time.
It's her first podcast.
It's my first podcast, and I'm very excited and just feel honored to do it with you.
I actually really love it, because when it's the first time, like, there's nothing to expect.
Yeah.
Be yourself, share your journey, share your story and your struggles.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here to share, that it's not just shiny on this end of the camera. The real behind the scenes is really the mess and all the vulnerability and the rawness and our fears and our struggles, but through that we find courage and bravery and we take steps forward.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah. I feel safe already.
And that's it. That's what it's meant for. The space is, in a safe space, we can talk about anything.
Yeah. I love that.
Right? We don't have to, we're not here to be the same person. We're not here to compete. We're not here just to, like, uplift, amplify, and highlight, and also educate and share, really.
I love it.
And empower. I love that word, empowerment, because it's really, through empowerment, we take our life back. So let's start a little bit behind. Let's share a little bit of your journey.
Sure.
Were you raised in Hawaii?
No, my dad was born and raised, and we grew up coming every summer. But Dad moved away from the island when he was 18 when he went to college, and he has always wanted to come back. So for us to live here now is like a dream for him. So we still have family here, and that's what allowed us to come. We came about 4 years ago
From?
North Carolina. I grew up in Northern Virginia, but yeah, we came every summer, so it felt very much like home. We stayed with family, so we weren't just moving here because, we thought Hawaii was a cool place. We were really intentional in that decision, but it was a big, all the way from the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you make a big move, it's uncertain. No matter, you may have roots and field ground here and love it here, but to lift everything and pick up everything and start again, you're starting again.
Yeah. In
some ways from scratch, rebuilding. It's nice to have a community here, but I can definitely relate. 2 years ago, we moved from Canada to Hawaii.
Yep.
And we didn't know anybody. Everything essentially was new country. Even though it's North America,
we're very different.
Hawaii is very different.
Yes.
I don't really always see it as part of the mainland USA.
Yes.
I call it its own. It's part of the States, but it's its own country.
Exactly. Own culture.
It's its own culture.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think sometimes people think it's paradise. It's so easy, but I think you have to be intentional, and it's not so easy for a lot of people. And when we moved, we had a great community in Charlotte, and I think a lot of people were kind of questioning, like, we have good jobs, the kids are in great schools, both of our families, like my parents moved to be closer to us. Why are you guys, doing this kind of big adventure and change? And honestly, it was, right after COVID a little bit. So we were in it, like, it wasn't like the lockdown, but it was 2021, and the kids had just finished that crazy time when they were home in school, and we actually saw the movie. I don't know if your daughter has seen it, called Finding Ohana. It's on Netflix.
We watched it. She loves that movie.
We just watched it family movie night, and it was just like, I'd love to visit my uncle in Hawaii. And then we started, figuring out some things. And my uncle moved to a senior assistance in Waikiki, and his home was going to be available. And so we kind of thought, well, maybe we'll just go for the summer. And then it was actually my husband that was like, you know what, let's just have an adventure and let's go the whole year, because school's crazy with, COVID and the hybrid, and we weren't even at the school that we had moved to the neighborhood to go to because it was, changed with all the COVID protocol. And so we decided to come, and 3 months in, my husband said, you have to bury me here. I love it so much. And of course I love it. It's, culturally, I just love the aloha.
There's a connection.
There's a connection.
Yeah.
And I don't know how your daughter felt, but where we were in Charlotte, our kids, are Hapa, so mixed, and we were not, it was a majority Caucasian community.
Yeah.
And they started kind of noticing that, a lot of people look more like daddy than mommy.
So Hapa's
Yes.
mixed race.
Mixed race.
My daughter's also Hapa.
Yes.
My
Yes.
husband's Caucasian and
Yes.
I'm Indian.
Yes.
So it's
Yep. And my mom is Filipino, and my dad's part Chinese, and my husband's also Caucasian. Yeah. So, there was starting to be a little bit of, not wanting to look the way they look and saying, I want to look like daddy. And it's so funny. We don't. We don't teach that, of course,
No.
but kids can pick it up.
Yeah.
And I am, when we first moved here, and so many kids, it was just refreshing that they could be in a place where kids look like them. And it was a joke because when I dropped them off at school the first day, they said, Mommy, how am I going to find you at pickup? Because usually I'm the only Asian. And so, that part has been a hidden blessing.
Yeah.
Living in a culture where your kids have a chance to kind of experience something different, but also have the understanding of what it's like on the mainland as well.
For sure. So similar in a different way for my daughter. My daughter looks a lot like my husband.
Okay.
So she doesn't have tan skin like me. She doesn't have my curly hair. So she's an identical twin of my husband, yet she has personality traits of me.
Yes.
And she's always felt always kind of curious why I look so different than her.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, you're as much me as dad.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're your own person.
Yeah.
Right? You share some of each of us, and then you were meant to be you.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what you're supposed to be born like, but the higher God universe, right?
Yeah.
And children, actually, she went to mostly all Caucasian as well.
Okay. In
Canada.
Yeah.
And she didn't really stand out. But what stood out was every time I went to pick her up, a lot of times I was mistaken as the nanny.
Exactly.
Right? And she never really thought too much of it until she got a little bit older. Mm-hmm. Kids would make comment, that's your mom?
Yeah.
She's got the wild hair, or, and my daughter wanted to have really tried to get me to braid her hair and let it out so that it would be bigger so she can look more like me.
Yeah.
And it's funny how we want to conform and become uniform to blend in.
Yes.
Rather than be ourselves.
Yes. Even at a young age.
Yeah. And even here, I feel like I also fit in here, with my coloring, and there's a lot of mixed and eclectic people, I call it, right?
Yes.
And a good mix, and sometimes it's not, I stand out on my own, but I also fit in my heart.
Yep.
For her, she goes to, there's a mixture of a lot of kids in her school, but yet still here, kids didn't understand how I look so different from her.
Yeah.
Right? When her dad picks her up, okay, get it.
No problem.
No problem. But they watch me. Mm-hmm. And it's curiosity. I take it now.
Yeah.
It used to bother me when she was younger, but now I just say, they don't know.
Right.
And we have all sorts of things, and when I look at people and I'm curious and that people watch, and you come up with your own story.
Yeah.
Right? So it's okay and to have that conversation. I'm kind of really glad we're having it, because how many of us feel like We need to fit in.
Exactly. And, you know, it's so funny because when you go on a podcast, you think it's going to go one way, but we're going a different way.
Every time.
I love it.
But we could touch on important things.
Yeah.
And this is part of wellness.
Yeah.
Fitting in is not the norm anymore.
Yeah.
I don't believe it is. I think we're breaking that programming. I want my daughter, I have one kid, I want my kid to stand in her own uniqueness and her own power and say you're part of an Indian culture that's beautiful and rich. You're part of the Caucasian ancestors of Germans.
Yep.
But you're born in Canada, now being raised in Hawaii.
Right.
And there's a richness that she's been gifted.
Yes.
That's what I try to teach her.
I love that.
Appreciate and be curious.
And I love that you shared that it used to bother you,
Yeah.
but now I think as you've matured in your own, you know, maybe racial identity and your confidence, you don't get offended if you are curious why they're curious.
Yes.
Instead of already going to, you know, some sort of judgment.
Yeah. I think it also has a lot to do with your environment. When
Yeah.
you are constantly the one standing out because you're in a largely predominant white environment, it does plant different seeds of not belonging or what are they thinking, and you're looking outward and wondering, you know, am I supposed to be like trying to fit in, or I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I've never really fit in, and it was until now, like coming into my own mid-40s woman journey, where I'm like, I was never meant to fit in. I love who I am. Exactly. I want the women and the people and the friends in my life that accept this. And accept who I am and the ever evolving. Because I'm discovering me in many parts of myself, and then this new entrepreneurial podcast journey. I'm scared doing it. I'm overwhelmed in moments, but every day there's a woman that shows up, or anytime I do a podcast or anybody behind the scenes that's helping me, they hold space, or in my community. Like whether it's the collab, women in that group have different events I show up at, and because I show up, that's the important part. Because I choose to show up for myself and support other women, in return, I am gifted an opportunity to feel a sense of belonging in myself, and then other women validate it in not in approval, but validate my acceptance of myself.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think looking back on my kind of racial identity journey, so grew up in Northern Virginia, again, around a lot of Caucasian, and my mom was born in the Philippines and dad was born here in Hawaii before it was even a state. So technically I feel like he was an international student coming to school in California. So not only not looking the same on the outside, but a lot of our kind of our customs, like, because mom was born in the Philippines, they didn't really do, you know, Thanksgiving or Halloween. And not that, I mean, we tried and we did it, but I could look around and I remember thinking, like, why do we have rice at Thanksgiving? Here in Hawaii, that's normal. But in Northern Virginia, it's not. And so honestly, I grew up not liking being Asian.
Yep, same.
Okay. And then I remember one specific time, and no one overtly was racist or, you know, mean, but someone just assumed I couldn't speak English. And it was very clear, and they weren't being ugly about it. They just said, do you speak English? And it just like offended me so much. But instead of, I think, like being proud of where I came from or what I looked like, I was very much turned away. And I didn't want to have any Asian friends, like when I went to college even. So like this is, you know, a journey. They had Asian American kind of like a community group. And I was like, I'm never joining that. When my Caucasian girlfriends would be like, oh, Lani, we don't even think of you as Asian. Like, I thought it was a compliment.
Me too.
You know? And they weren't being mean either, but like, I just so wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
And, as you get older, you kind of have to work through some of that stuff. Yeah. And now I see, all the different cultures and experiences and the way I look, like, this makes me me.
Yeah.
You know, and so it sounds like kind of similar.
Did
you grow up in Canada?
I was born in India, but I spent 38 years in Canada. I went from India at the age of 7 to Canada, just outside of Toronto, and grew up in Burlington, predominantly white suburban neighborhood. It's a great place to grow up. It's just, it didn't have any culture of multiracial culture, right? It was predominantly white. And like you, later in my years, there was a comment that stuck with me, and someone said, go back to where you came from. And I was dumbfounded because I didn't have a lot of racism, but like touches, there's like hints of it. Right. That you didn't even think it was racism. Yeah. Right? It was, but it wasn't. You didn't know of your own ignorance. Yes. And I was like, go back to where I came from. I'm like, I've grown up here. Right. Like I am, right? Like, and it's just funny how you said, I also had predominantly white friends that wanted to fit in, and I didn't almost feel like I didn't fit in the Indian community. Completely. Right? And I felt like an outsider there, and I felt like an outsider in the Caucasian community, and when my friends would say, oh, you're not even Indian, you're pretty much white anyways, and I used to take it as a compliment until I really sat down in my older years and said that was never a compliment. That was me disowning myself. Exactly. And this compliment of, oh, you're just a coconut. You're brown on the outside, but you're white on the inside. Yeah. And I was like, right? Like, it's let's be okay talking about it, because this was our experience. We bought into this narrative, and we chose to go along with this. But we were self-abandoning ourselves, disowning ourselves from our heritage or culture. Self-hatred. Self-hatred. Yeah. And also, like, hatred of our culture and our people. I know. And I don't think we did it consciously. I think we did it for survival. Yeah. And like you said, you get older and you have to do the work. Yeah. You have to do the work on that part, all of those parts of yourself that you had to bring, and you have to put that piece back together. Yeah. And rebuild yourself, and you have to face yourself and own all of you and say, I'm not a coconut. Yeah. I am dark chocolate, baby. That's right. No, and what I do though appreciate about here in this special culture, Hawaii, is there are a lot of different cultures. Yes. And I love the aloha feel of that. I love the meaning of aloha. Yeah. But it, like you said, it's a journey. Yeah. And I guess... And it continues, because our kids are being interracial marriage will have to live their own journey, and we're constantly talking about culture, and like sometimes my daughter's like, well, I'm German, and I said, well, you're also Indian. Yeah. I know you don't always relate to that culture, because it's not in your face, it's not in our house as much, and she didn't realize I even spoke up my language till I was just a couple of years ago, and I was like, because I never had anybody to speak it to. Yeah. It's still here, not my tongue, but it's your heart language. It's my heart language. Yep. And I can't, it will come back. Yeah. And it's slowly talking about it. Yeah. Even talking about it is healing, and bringing awareness and allowing her to accept herself and all of herself. Yeah. Then it's healing for me. Right? Yeah. Like, it makes me feel like I want to teach her more. That means I have to be open to learning more. Exactly. And same thing with the Hawaiian culture. We are both taking hula, brand new, here. And our kumu is like so wonderful. And we just show up in respect. Yeah. We show up humbly with curiosity, respect. And our kumu is amazing. Kumu mapu is like, have fun. Yeah. I want you to have fun in this, and when you're having fun, you'll learn automatically. Yeah. And so, and same thing, tend the aina. We're going to be volunteering at a farm, because I'm a big gardener and I love it, and I feel like I'm disconnected from that, not having my own garden. Right. We can have my plants everywhere, but I want to give back to the aina, because it gives us so much. Yeah. And I think a big part of Hawaiian culture is about the aina and how to respect all the resources it provides us. Yeah. You know, and I'm actually really grateful we're talking about this. Oh, good. No, because having the podcast on this land is important, and I'm always looking ways to pay respect.
Yeah.
And it's important to acknowledge the land we are living on. It is sacred land. We are gifted this opportunity to be here. I don't ever want to it's a privilege, but I don't want to take it like for granted.
Exactly.
Same thing I felt in Canada. Like, I acknowledge the Indigenous people, and like I acknowledge that it was stolen land, because coming from a colonized country, India, I also know what it's like to be colonized. So it's
full circle.
Full circle, and I didn't acknowledge that for years, and the pain and the different things that my ancestors may have gone through, being conditioned. And part of health and wellness is having that conversation. I'm learning about this podcast. I wanted it to be just health and wellness and diseases and resources for illnesses or women's health. This is women's health.
The whole thing. There's so many facets. Yeah. No, like I said, I had no clue where we would go, and I'm so glad we can kind of talk about, I think as we get older, we have awareness, but you have to be open to doing the work, to looking inside.
And continuously opening yourself up in your heart and being of service. We're here to help others, not like, I think there's a big part in the Hawaiian culture. It's in community. In a lot of cultures. We grow in community. North Americans got away from that, and now we're bringing it back. I believe some of us are really trying to bring it back. Yeah,
and talking about all these experiences our kids are experiencing here in Hawaii, respecting the land, it is great that we can experience a almost completely different culture, but still benefit from the privileges and rights of American. Well, I guess for me, American citizen.
I'm a resident.
You're a resident.
We got our green cards last year. Okay. Thank goodness. It's scary times. It was a journey. It's never easy to get immigrate to a new country and apply and do the process. That was healing on its own for me.
Wow.
Having done it twice, I moved from India to Canada. In my 20s, I became a Canadian citizen. I just through lots of challenges. It took me to my 20s, and I got it myself. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of money, so I just went through the process, got it, and moved on. And yes, it was so beautiful, and I was grateful, but I didn't celebrate and process the journey. And this time there was a lot came up at this age. Feeling of proving myself, feeling of unworthiness that I'm moving to a new country. You have to prove your worth. You have to. You're definitely reminded you don't belong here
unless you can add benefit.
Yes. And as humans, we are all here, and there's a lot. I don't ever hate on anybody, but there's a lot of humans that don't add benefit. They take. And I think we show them compassion. The rest of the world, and because they're hurting, right? And I was hurting through that journey of having to prove myself, and I had to do a lot of inner work to reconcile that I am grateful and I'm privileged to have this opportunity again. I had to look at it in the lens of, I get to do it again to heal that person that never got to do it in her 20s.
Or process that whole...
And I get to rewrite the narrative with a confident, mature woman who knows her power. And I did have to stand up to the government for certain things to do with my daughter.
Is she Canadian?
She's Canadian.
Okay.
But she wasn't vaccinated.
Okay.
For COVID.
Right.
I don't have any disrespect for what everybody else's stance was. I did not want her vaccinated. And they gave me my green card. They didn't give her green card. And so I had to challenge my lawyer to stand up for us. And then I had to challenge the government and also stand up for myself and saying, I'm not going to vaccinate her. And right or wrong, it's a mandate. It's not the law. Show me where in the Constitution it says that. And I have a right to, as her parent first.
Yep.
That is more important to me in my intuition. If you believe to vaccinate, I'm not against it.
Right.
Right? I said we have a choice. She's young. It's not been tested on children. And I declined it.
Yeah.
And the doctor gave me a hard time. It was a really intense battle because they just challenged my fitness as a parent.
Wow.
And I said, listen, I've gone through a lot of health challenges and infertility, and I said, if there's even a 0.1% of an issue that you can't prove to me,
right.
you have no data that there isn't, it's a hell no for me.
Yeah.
And when she turns 18, it is her body, her choice. She can do, it will be her choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had to stand up for that. It was scary, but I had to not crack under the pressure because I have to advocate for our children.
Yes.
Whatever it is, whether it's in schools, in sports, or to the medical system.
No one else is advocating like us.
Everybody has a right to do what they want with their bodies.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't ever shame anybody for getting vaccinated. I think if it's something that is important to you and you have, do it.
Yeah.
But please don't shame me for my decision for the safety of my own child.
Yeah.
And anyways, it wasn't meant to go there, but we went there.
Yeah.
But we did, and they, you know what? My daughter got her green card. I on a moral ground, but I had valid argument.
Yeah.
You know, I've invested all of this money and time in almost 9 months, and sometimes it takes people years.
Yeah.
It was under a year we got our green card. We also had to prove that we were helpful to this country and we could fend for ourselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, that helped us. And my husband being American helped us too.
Okay, so he's American.
He's dual citizen.
Dual.
Yeah. He was born in the U.S. and moved when he was a teenager to Canada. And then allowed us this opportunity to come and try this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm so grateful because I love it here. And in 2 years, I have, you know, started to build a community that feels organic, that is nourishing, and as well as having one in Canada and all around the world, right? To have come and get past my fears and building for my family some support system here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So that went somewhere different.
But we do have that in common of both coming from, you know, and being respectful. And, you know, even with my most desire to be respectful, and I have to tell you about a time I had to learn something, a mistake. So it's a
gift usually.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm starting my own business. Mm-hmm. I picked the name Como Mai Collective because the vibe or the energy I wanted to put out is, so E Como Mai, you know, we see that around, that means welcome, come in. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to have a business where companies felt welcomed in, or clients feel welcomed in, you know, to solutions. And I love connecting. I love, I like making people feel comfortable. So that's why I picked that name. And I got the LLC, I got the websites and the email addresses. And you know what? My cousin, who is Kanaka, or, you know, part Native Hawaiian, he called me up and he said, "Oh, Lani, do you know what your, like, name of your business?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I picked it because I like the Hawaiian word welcome, and I thought that would look good." And he said, "Oh, did a kumu give that to you?" And he was very sweet, mm-hmm. you know. And I was like, "The kumu?" And he's like, "So that's kind of like a Hawaiian leader in the community, and even with the most purest intentions, you know, I had to do a self-check." And I said, "Oh no, I just picked it." And you know, he said, "Well, you know, to do the most pono or right thing is you can't just take something that's not yours and use it for business." Yeah. And so at first I was like, "Oh, like of course that's not my heart." So I had to step back and do a little bit of like reflection. And then I was able to speak to just a really wonderful Native Hawaiian that we're close to. And you know what? Hindsight's always 20/20. And I said, I should have researched more. I should have asked, And she was so sweet. And she said, candidly, Lani, it's not crazy offensive. It's not like it's like someone's going to see that and think, oh my gosh, like, why did she choose that name? But she said, it means a lot as a Kanaka that I'm willing to learn, to ask, and I ultimately changed the name. Because, it really should be, if you're Native Hawaiian, using that in your business, or if I'm working primarily with Native Hawaiian clients. And so I think for me, that was a huge learning and point and a chance to have some humility, because, maybe people think I'm local the way I look, and my dad was born and raised. But I think having the ability to admit when you made a mistake, even if it was unintentional.
Of course.
And,
Ho'oponopono.
yeah. And then, making it right and doing something that is a pain point of having to change all the things I already started. But it was, even though it was hard going through it, I'm so glad, because I feel like I've learned,
Yeah.
And it was really cool. My friend who was, kind of walking me through it, and she did a Hawaiian blessing over my business. And I just felt like just having that forgiveness, not that even that it was like I had to ask for forgiveness, but having that blessing and understanding that we all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But when we can be open and,
I think,
ask when we should ask, right?
I think Indigenous and Hawaiian, that's the pathway to healing. Respecting their culture and their language and their land. And it's our land, because we all live on Earth, right? I want to respect each culture that's where they came from. I also have this philosophy that all of this land on this earth is not meant for one person,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we also have to respect the cultures and the people, so we all feel like we belong, right? And Ho'oponopono is a forgiveness prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you. And we practice that in our home, because I think it's been such a gift of healing from the Hawaiian culture for my family.
I love that.
I practice it with my daughter, and I consciously say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you. Because we don't know. Just like you didn't know what the word and the intent, that you needed permission, and it's more of just respect and accountability and responsibility.
Yeah.
Not culturally appropriating.
Yeah.
And yes, you can look like Hawaiian, but
Yeah.
you know in your heart, if you do some self-reflection and say, hey, my intention was never to offend.
Yeah.
And if I did, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you.
Exactly.
And in return, you got blessings.
I know. I think that was the cool part, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think maybe a younger Lani would have gotten sensitive, or my feelings hurt, and being why, don't you know my heart? I would never do that. But I think it takes
They don't know your heart.
Right. But it takes maturity to say, hey, I didn't mean it, but I'm willing to learn, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the pono, so.
I love it. Let's pivot a little bit.
All right. We went all over.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think I knew where I wanted it to go, but I also, today, was beautiful, because I had a little apprehensiveness in today's episode, because I'm feeling like I got a rhythm, but today I felt, this week, I've been a bit in this uncertainty phase, and it's okay to admit it. We're all humans having an experience. And I was like, okay, where are we going to go with this? And I said, you know what? Please let me be open. Wellness is a big topic, and I don't want to get on a train on what somebody defined wellness and health and and wellness as. Women's health and wellness. It looks great on algorithms to have a niche. I don't ever fit in an algorithm.
Yeah.
I never have, and I never will.
Yeah.
So I want to be respectful. I want to have conversations that are real, organic, authentic, and I wanted conversations about interracial families because I have one.
Yeah.
And I'm navigating this, raising children, and I know a lot of families now are interracial and I think could benefit from a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it's okay to feel like uncertain and wonder what your kids and other kids, and let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are, and I'm so grateful that this came up organically. And I also know that you recently opened a new business.
Yes. Yes. So, just you think when you grow up you'll have everything figured out, haha, right? And your journey in your career has many winding paths.
Oh, yeah.
And I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I'm not naturally entrepreneurial, but kind of, just learning and growing and being around other entrepreneurs, it's like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And so, it was just recently, a couple months ago, I moved out of the day-to-day operations of what I was doing before. It was for an after-school program, and I have a lot of experience working in operations, and my mind, that's kind of my personality. I like holding all the things and organizing and checking the boxes and
project management,
yes. And then kind of just had the opportunity to think about my next chapter. And I don't know if you talked with anyone from Mapu's event on your show, but just kind of that event kind of came at a time when I had a chance to kind of pivot and then thinking about, what do I want to do for my next chapter? And so I launched the KM Collective, and like I shared, we changed our name, and it is a concierge service that matches small businesses, solopreneurs with right fit support, mainly through virtual assistants, fractional COOs, social media, specialists, bookkeepers, because I realized working in your strength, as I'm a connector, I love helping people and bringing in to the solution. And after doing operations for so long, I was like, I'm ready to flex another muscle, of the connecting. So we just started that. I think sometimes people know they need help in any business, especially entrepreneur. Like you were saying, we were talking earlier, it's like you're figuring it out.
Oh, yeah.
But it's great when you can have help.
You need help.
And I think
the sooner as an entrepreneur you realize, entrepreneur doesn't mean you get to do it alone. The sooner you realize you delegate and you get help and you ask for help, the longevity and the success rate goes higher.
Exactly. And so I just can kind of see that, people know they need help, but maybe they don't know where to get the help or how to get the help. And through our wonderful collab and just some other networking, I'm kind of like just picking up, this person would be a great person for that. Or, and especially with our virtual assistants, I've had the privilege of working with many virtual assistants and have had a great experience and felt like we did a great job of training and onboarding them to feel part of the team, not just someone that you give tasks to, but really part of the team. And I could see some people not really sure, where do I start? I know I need to delegate something, but I don't know what. And so that's kind of where the heart came for KM Collective. And
I love that.
Just want to help. I just want to be your business bestie.
We need it. Trust me, I am constantly in awe of so many women before me that have built empires, and I'm so fresh and green, but I'm giving myself credit because it takes courage to take that first step.
Yeah.
And to invest in yourself and believe in your vision and go after it.
Yeah.
And saying a few months ago I started this has been on my heart for years. Probably 5 years it's been in my journal every year. And that every year, this year's the year. I said, I don't want to wait anymore. Every years are going by quickly.
Exactly.
But you know what? Are you, so far, do you have a team?
So I actually have 2 VAs myself, which is so fun because it's our business is connecting people and training and onboarding VAs, but then I'm also doing that in real time,
Yeah.
So it's just this fun overlapping. And what I love is, and this is probably other places in the country of women entrepreneurship or just entrepreneurship groups, but what I think we found in our Goal Getters collab with the amazing Stephanie is that I just feel like everyone is lifting each other up.
Yeah.
It's not being competitive. It's not hoarding. It's really coming with like an abundance mindset.
And the more honest you are where you're at and where you need help and where you're struggling, I found that yesterday. Dr. Gabby and her team, she just lifted me up. And
Gabby from GGC?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dr. Gabby, I was at one of her events, her mindfulness events.
I love it.
And just lifted me up from just a inner talk spiral.
Yeah.
Right? And then along with my vulnerability, we don't realize our vulnerability helps other women.
Yes.
Because they're suffering in silence, you're suffering in silence. The moment that first person says, I'm struggling,
yes.
I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm having a hard time, the other two women are shocked and they're like, but you seem like you have it all together.
Yeah.
And they're like, me too, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Or they share their piece.
Yeah. Exactly.
Their voice, their experience.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we go through hard things to help someone down the road.
That's usually our gift.
Yeah. And I can think of a couple things. So I feel like, and maybe now in this day and age, people talk about infertility a little bit more, but I had 2 miscarriages, when we were like 12 years ago. And I feel like, at least in my mom's generation, they didn't, we don't really talk about, maybe they didn't even know, with our medical advances and I feel like people can really, suffer silently if you don't talk about it, but it's so prevalent, right?
Yeah.
And then by just having people that, yes, that's happened to me too, or, I feel like that feels good. Another place I feel like being open is when I share. I have 3 kids, 3 amazing kids. But for me, motherhood is not easy. And maybe all moms know that. All moms know that.
All moms know that. But I think some moms feel ashamed to say that out loud, that it's hard and they're struggling.
Yes. And my mom is amazing. I joke and say, Mom, if I could be half as good as you, I'd be an amazing mom. And then she would say, Lani, try 1/3 as good as me. Yeah. And so to see my mom, and I think it comes very natural for her. And then for me, it's not natural. It doesn't feel natural. I don't feel like I'm super maternal in terms of I don't really like I don't even really like kids that much. Yes, baby,
you love your own because they're yours.
Yes, but I'm not I just want to stay home and I want to play with them and I want to cook all these home cooked meals and I think to say that out loud makes me feel like a bad mom, But
don't you feel better that you just said it?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's me.
And you're not a bad mom.
Yeah.
Do you show up every day for your kids?
Yes.
Do you feed them?
Yes.
You play with them?
Sometimes.
We're all human.
Yes.
I don't always want to play with my daughter, but intentionally, I also remind myself she's not going to be this age forever.
That's so true.
And this season of my life, I don't want to get to 70 and 80 and regret it. So I remind myself, take this 30 minutes and paint a picture.
Yes.
Do whatever she wants to do. And it's okay, Lani.
Yeah.
It's okay, Reet. We are not bad moms. Our parents were the best they were, and we look up to them. Or maybe our parents weren't the best.
Yeah.
And they made mistakes. But no parent has a manual.
No. And no parent's perfect.
No parent's perfect. And we are literally in real time. I truly believe our generation is doing deeper healing at the same time as we are parenting our children differently.
Exactly.
And talking about this, that we don't find motherhood easy. And sometimes I've had moments of questioning, being like, I chose this because I went through infertility and I had my daughter through in vitro. And saying that doesn't mean I don't want to have her in my life and I don't think she's the biggest gift and blessing in my life. It just means it's hard. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
And I need help, or I want to be able to just be honest about it.
Yeah.
And that's what this podcast is. Let's reignite the honesty. Let's reignite the hard conversations. And we're not planning on staying there. We're planning on talking about that if there's a new mom that's hiding and shameful and guilty and feeling like, what the hell did I do? Like,
my life. I love this baby, but it's really hard.
It's really hard. Yeah. And there's moments, I talked to another mom not this week. She's like, do you know I didn't even feel connection till now she's 3 months? I didn't feel connected to her. Like, I just didn't have that instinct. And it was really hard. And I was like, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Because you're not alone. I went through the first year of being up and down, of having hormones, mental health, postpartum. I don't know what it is. I don't have a label for it. But what I do know is it was scary. I really had a lot of self-hate and judgment because I put expectations that I was going to be this better Betty Crocker mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I couldn't meet those expectations, the self-hate and the thoughts went wild. Mm-hmm. Took me to dark spaces I didn't even know. But you still have a child.
Yeah.
You still have to go through it, get up every day, and
wake up
and show up.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's celebrate every day we are showing up. Ugly in our thoughts.
Yes.
A mess, top buns, stained clothes, and sometimes looking presentable, and sometimes not feeling like we even look like their mothers.
Yeah.
Externally from other people's judgments But we are doing the work to reconcile all of those emotions and showing up anyways.
Yeah. And I think for me, as I've self-reflected and of course still figuring it out, the hard part is before I was a mom, I feel like I was a great daughter and a great sister and a great girlfriend and a great wife because that was in kind of my control. Mm-hmm. When you have a kid, you're not in control.
No.
And I think that piece was just very hard. It's still hard because you either think, oh my gosh, if they don't brush their teeth, they're never going to get a job, and then they're going to live in our basement forever, which in Hawaii, that's normal, but I think it's, if you like being in control, having a kid, we can do our best, we can parent, we can guide, but we can't control.
No, they are their own human. And in a way, motherhood has to break you to make you.
Yes.
Because the perfectionist control mindset coming in from a operations person, and I was like that in my corporate life, a project manager, and I like the clothes, the laundry folded this way, like the house. I love a schedule, Monday to Sunday. We're resting at this time. We're booked for this, and I's dotted, T's crossed.
Yes.
And that dance, I didn't know the steps the moment my daughter was born.
No. It's a different dance.
It's a different dance, and the dance is you're rewriting a new dance all the time.
Yes.
Because this human is changing all the time, you're changing all the time, and everything around you is changing all the time.
Yes.
And I don't think you recognize that until you have a child. Because when you don't have a child, you still have the illusion of that you're still controlling everything.
Yes.
Once you are in real time, have a life that is dependent on you for keeping them alive, for everything, but also is their own, as it grows, own thought process, own experience, and own journey, own choices, and tell you they have their own choices in this world, and you're their guide. Mm-hmm. You don't own them, and nobody tells you and prepares you, and you have to. And even if they did, and our moms or our girlfriends, you're coming from your own journey, and whatever you had built up in your story in your head, how it was going to be, you have to break that and unwrite that story. Yeah. And write it new story as it happens.
For sure. And I think, like you said, the Betty Crocker, like, I don't love cooking. Mm-hmm. I do it because we have to eat. But I do it because I love my family too. And I think instead of just focusing on the, well, this isn't natural for me and I don't like cooking, and, you know, I think it's just stepping into that responsibility. You know, when I'm giving birth and you couldn't get the epidural, and I started saying, I can't do this, and the nurse looked at me and said, Lani, you're the only one that can. You know, like in that moment, no one else can come in and give birth to this baby for me. And I think sometimes I need to remember that about being a mom.
Yeah.
At this moment, we are the only ones that can be our kids' mom.
Yeah.
And it is hard, and we don't know necessarily what the future holds. All we can do is our best.
Yeah. And forgive ourselves.
And give ourselves
all
grace.
And forgive them. They are not out to get us. Sometimes I truly believed in the early, like, I thought of this today, and I looked at my daughter as we ate lunch, and I was like, I just love you so much. And on the duality on the other side, I was like, I didn't say it out loud, but I thought it. I was like, I did not know that there was times I believed like you were doing things purposely to hurt me. And I know that's not true, but my brain tried to convince me.
Because they're figuring it out.
Why are you doing this for me?
Yeah.
To me. And it wasn't to me. She's teaching me patience. She's teaching me grace. She's teaching me to self-reflect and learn that these children's minds don't have like that capacity. And when I expect her to, why don't you know?
Right. She doesn't.
She really doesn't have that foresight.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that built in her brain. And so many times my amazing husband has taught me that Reet, like, when she says she doesn't know, she really doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time, and it's still a journey to forgive myself for not knowing either.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know that she didn't know. And it sounds ridiculous, but when I'm parenting my inner child myself because of my own traumas, and I had to grow up really young and be an adult at a very young age and do responsible things, it robbed me, and that child comes out and lashes out at my child.
Right. Why don't you know?
Yeah, we fight like we're two children.
Yeah.
And I'm having to parent that girl inside that never got parented. At the real time and real space as I parent my daughter, and I apologize to myself, to her, and it feels better.
Yeah.
And taking a pause, a lot of pauses now.
Deep breaths.
And just doing, this is the work. This is called wellness, and talking about it, having the conversations. Motherhood is the hardest hood you'll ever live in.
But I think what you said is right. It does break you.
Yeah.
But through that being broken, we're getting stronger. We're developing, because of course, like, I can't go through life thinking I can control everything. That's just not the reality. But I didn't feel that until I became a mom.
Yeah.
And
you get broken, but what you put back together is the truest, realest, most beautiful version of yourself that was truly meant to be. And we say broken humbly, but like, it humbles you.
Yes.
And it cracks that controllingness, because you have to face it, and you have to really face yourself and say, I can't control. I'm not in control.
Yeah.
I have choices.
Yeah.
I have to change this.
Right. Or the only thing I can control is my own
reaction.
And that's what I love about what you're saying about community, because I think if we isolate ourselves and we just look at social media, what everyone's posting about, it seems to be a perfect mom or a perfect
the highlight
whatever.
reel.
Yes, but I think when we have true community where we can be authentic, we all want the best for each other. We're not judging each other.
Yeah.
You have this safety, and that's truly part of feeling well.
Yeah.
So I thank you for just being willing to talk about these things.
Oh, thank you for sharing your miscarriages and your journey, and admitting in real vulnerability that motherhood is hard, and you don't always like this journey, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're, as much as of all the things that we say like it, we're also allowed to be honest about that we don't always like it, and it's not easy, and some days we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But we wake up and we choose to do it. Yeah. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So I'm humbled and honored that you're like sharing. This is really exactly what I needed in my motherhood journey of, having 3 children. I look up to women and mothers like yourself having like
any number.
I know.
It's full.
It's full. It is.
Full.
It truly is. It's like you said. It's not about really comparison.
Yeah.
My mind always tells me like, oh my God, you could never do that. And yeah, you could.
Yeah.
If and when that was your opportunity or that was your life, you would do it.
Yeah.
Because you are doing it.
Yeah.
And you're helping other women do it. And I'm so, so, so grateful. I want to kind of take an opportunity to, if you can kind of give some advice to moms out there.
Oh.
Entrepreneurs and moms. Like, because we're all the things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, as you've launched this new business, you've helped other women build their business, you've been in the corporate world, you're raising 3 children.
Yeah.
What would it be?
I think trust your gut.
Mm.
It's okay to go slow. And just be grateful for every day, that you have, and reach out if you need help. There's so many wonderful resources, so many wonderful people that want to either help you as a mom, as an entrepreneur, and wherever you are in whatever journey, like your racial identity journey, your entrepreneurial journey, your motherhood journey, your womanhood journey. It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I don't want to get to be 80 years old and look back and say, man, I should have XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's some times when I'm like, I just want to get to the point where the business is running on full cylinders. But if you go too fast, you're going to miss the journey, which is the growing part. And I think one thing I'm really learning right at this time is how to balance between, yes, we have the motivation, we're in Goal Getters Collab, we're working on our goals and we're striving, but at the same time, being grounded, being rooted, not just producing stuff out of frantic, anxious striving, but really taking time to think about, like for you with the podcast and your services, like what is Reignite with Reet? Is it just whatever you can get to like get traction? No, like you're being intentional. And it's okay to give yourself that time to really figure out what do you want to do.
Yeah.
That was kind of all over the place. All my advices, but yeah.
No, those are really important. And you were speaking to my heart. Give yourself grace and time to figure it out. When you have a big dream on your heart and you're building it, it comes with uncertainty, shakes you up and shakes the ground underneath you. It's your job to plant your feet back down every single day and say, whatever's meant to come through me today, please let me bring that out and step into it. And with all the discomfort, with all of the challenges and the gifts that it comes with. And that's amazing. That's amazing advice for women. And for your kids.
Yeah.
If you were going to leave, as much as we say motherhood is hard, if you're leaving a legacy, what do you want it to be? What do you want your kids to know when they're older?
I want my kids to know when I'm older that they're loved unconditionally. There's nothing that they could do better or more that would make us, their parents, love them more. There's nothing that they could do so awful that we would love them less. We might not like them at times.
Mm-hmm. Truth.
But that they would have that security, knowing that they're loved, that they have a purpose, and that it's okay to make mistakes. It's a journey. And I just love that, what you were talking about before, phrases in Hawaiian of, I love you, I thank you, please forgive me, I forgive you. Like, I just think that's such a wonderful way to live every day and to end every night, because we don't know what tomorrow brings.
No.
And, life's too short to hold on to regrets or self-hatred.
Yeah.
And just know that we're all doing the best we can.
Yeah. I love that. And it is. Life is too short. We have no idea. Tomorrow's not promised.
Forgiving someone is not accepting or approving
Bad behavior.
Bad behavior.
No.
It's, like you said.
Or abuse.
No, yes, no, for sure. But I think living a life where you are just not in bondage, you know?
Yeah. You empower yourself and you surrender with grace.
A therapy session all in one.
This is really what REIGNITE has become. It's therapy for the soul, conversations for the soul. It has become on its own, and it is whatever it's meant to become through me. I'm a facilitator. I'm holding space, and I also allow myself to be vulnerable and healed through other women. And if there's that can happen for the other women in the sitting here like yourself, I am living my mission, my purpose every single day, and it lights me up.
I love it, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And it was a great first time experience.
I'm glad. Thank you, Lani. So where can my team find you?
Yeah.
Or everybody in the world?
Yeah. So we're at kmcollective.co. And check us out. We love to connect you with right fit support and help however we can. So.
And we'll have all the details in the show notes, and we will definitely, Lani will have some socials that we'll post in there. Thank you for coming on, and I'm wishing you so much like success and joy and happiness.
Thank you.